We have all heard of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech and the historic Civil Rights March from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. But did you know that Dr. King also fought for better wages for underpaid factory workers in Atlanta and even protested the Vietnam War?
In today's History Untold, Devin Clark explores Dr. King's less popular legacy and shows us how a local professor worked to make sure every child in Texas can learn about it.
We posthumously romanticize him now.
While well revered today, there was a time when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was not well liked by the majority.
At the time near his death, they did a Gallup poll in 1966. He had a 30% popularity rate. So right now, of course, he's in the high 90s.
Texas A&M San Antonio Assistant Professor of Educational Leadership, Dr. Lauren Scott, says that in addition to influencing the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which removed barriers blocking African Americans' right to vote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. took on other charges that received pushback.
For instance, in 1964, he was fighting for the Atlanta Scripto Pen Factory. Some of the workers, he was fighting for better wages for them. Or in 1966, he did the open housing campaign, again, to eradicate redlining and integrate neighborhoods.
One of Dr. King's biggest endeavors to receive wide opposition was protesting the Vietnam War.
So he was saying, how are we sending our young black men 8,000 miles to liberate Southeast Asians, but then they come home to Georgia and East Harlem and they still face some of the marginalization and inequities.
Making sure that often untold yet crucial details about African American history are taught is part of the reason why Dr. Scott and members of the nonprofit Community for Life Foundation testified before the Texas State School Board, pushing for a statewide African American studies course.
What I've learned is when students do not see themselves in the curriculum, they are not engaged.
In April, the board unanimously approved the course as an elective for Texas schools. It's already been adopted by some in our area.
Right now, we have 3 districts that opted in. We have San Antonio ISD, we have Judson ISD, and then Northeast.
It's how Dr. Scott is continuing Dr. King's mission to make sure that equality and equity extends to education. For now, reporting outside of MLK Park, Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.